Time back here at home in New York City, billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman warning New Yorkers it's time to wake up and stop Zohran Mamdani's socialist takeover of New York City. He's writing on X that socialism will be the death knell for the Big Apple. He says the only way to defeat Mamdani is for either Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo to put their egos aside, good luck, and drop out of the election. And he has a point. Mamdani leads by 19 points in a four-way race, but still doesn't have a majority of support, leaving the door open for a moderate ticket to succeed. So, Jerry, here we are, New York City. The Mamdani saga continues. For weeks now, everyone's been saying, well, somebody's got to drop out. Just got to put your ego aside.
Well,
put
what
your
I would
ego
say,
aside, they say.
That goes really well with
okay.
politicians.
Yes.
I'd have to agree with you there. But I think Ackman is a little bit of being Dr. Obvious here. Yeah, we've been talking obviously some folks have to drop out. But he said something that I thought was interesting, and I'm wondering what he means by this. NYC, he says, will look kindly on the candidate that steps aside and helps the other win to save the city. He will be a very important part of their legacy. So what are you saying, Mr. Ackman? Are you going to give a little cash, a little backup, a little help to either one of these fellows, Adams or Cuomo, who drops out? Look, it's blatantly obvious that the field needs to narrow or Mamdani will win. And I think that's a disaster for this city because we are the capital of capitalism and we need to remain that way. All of his suggestions, and by that I mean Mamdani's, are disasters in the making. Free grocery stores run by the federal or by the city government. Can you imagine? Ridiculous. All kinds of freebies for people who need them.
I think we should stop calling them free grocery stores and start calling them empty grocery stores, because that's more or less what they'll be. Brianna, you know, everybody's got the warnings, but warnings aren't going to do anything if at the election you've got the same situation then that you have right now.
Yeah, which is why when we talk about, you know, Adams, Cuomo coalescing around one or the other, the problem remains it's about their campaign tactics. We have not seen Eric Adams or Cuomo go out on the streets the same way Zohran Mamdani has. I don't like the guy, but he's done a better job campaigning and getting voters, especially low propensity voters, to turn out. So even if they coalesce around each other, that is still not enough. They have to figure out what they're going to do. And even besides that, they have to have a better messaging than just saying socialism is bad. Because when you're poor and you're struggling to put groceries on the table, or you're a white liberal who's affluent, and you hear socialism, you think, wow, free grocery stores. You don't understand the underpinnings of that radical policy. You don't understand why it's so bad. So there has to be a better education campaign going on with these other candidates and really with the education system.
John, you've got, for what it's worth, you've got tech workers in this city who are giving a lot more money to Mamdani than any other candidates in this race. Their bosses don't like Mamdani necessarily, but these workers are shelling out for him, especially compared to Cuomo, for instance. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I guess these guys didn't study much in terms of economics, or if they studied economics, they didn't learn it correctly, put it that way. I mean, if you have, they are complaining about the high cost of living, they can't find affordable housing in New York City, but my goodness, if you impose or stiffen rent controls, that's going to reduce the supply of housing. Not only will it reduce supply of housing, you'll also have lower quality housing. I don't really know what their thought process is. They must be frustrated. They're not moving ahead quickly enough. But again, this too, you know, AI is perhaps playing a role here. AI is maybe, for the time being, immediately limiting the upside potential for these tech workers.
I don't know what Mamdani's saying about AI, Dagan, to solve that problem. Maybe that's part of the issue. I don't think he's saying anything substantive.
Government app.
But I do agree. I want to say I do, and I've made this point on the show. I do agree with Brianna that substantively he's a fool, but politically he's the least foolish guy in this race, and I think that's the difference maker. And I don't see any end to that right now.
No, people despise Andrew Cuomo. They're sick of seeing his face after all of the years of COVID and
killing grandmas.
Yes, signing the order that killed grandma and grandpa, sent them COVID-positive patients back into nursing homes, among other things that are his problems. But I'll go with the old phrase, as Bobby Fleckman in Spinal Tap said, money talks and walks, BS walks. But let's reverse that. The BS from these rich people like Bill Ackman, that needs to sit down. Only when money walks will this make a difference. And I mean money leaves this city.
Right.
Only when money walks right on out of the Big Apple and all of New York. Bill Ackman's money, the J.P. Morgan Chase money. And I don't mean just Jamie Dimon's coin. Doesn't he have a house in Florida? Where some of my family lives? I'm talking about that ginormo totem to Jamie Dimon, the new headquarters
In
building.
Midtown here, yeah.
Right, I'm pointing in the direction of it. So only when these business leaders and owners, hedge fund managers, stop, if Mamdani wins and he tries to implement these plans, you have to stand up for your employees and say, I'm not going to subject my employees to this. I'm not going to allow my employees to be part of this experiment because I know where it goes.
Well,
And they need to start saying it now. Of like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's where my employees are going to go. We're already mapping out the plans. Start saying it out loud, publicly traded company or not. That's what we need to hear.
I'm totally on your page, and I've been saying for some time that this requires the financial leadership of New York City to stand up and start talking action. I think that's absolutely right. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Here's what I think will happen, that, these CEOs will retire to their second and third and fourth homes in Florida, California, Texas, God knows where they are. We need leadership in this city right now, and not people who are just Dr. Obvious saying what the problem is.
By the way, do you know they're making a Spinal Tap 2, Dagan? It's subtitled The End Continues. That may be a good subtitle for the whole thing in New York City.
I did know
Mamdani
that.
Wins.
I did know that. I watched Spinal Tap the other day, again, for the 8,000th time, and I asked all of the my staff who work on the bottom line, oh, have you seen Spinal Tap recently? And they stared at me blankly. None of them have ever seen it once. So that was my little effort to quote Bobby Fleckman.
You got to try
played by Fran Drescher.
You got to try to educate, right? Hopefully nobody spontaneously combusts on this set.